I didn't have a problem with it though. Who does not want to come to America? I wanted to come, so I said yes. I've arrived. Today's the time to shine. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinomso Eze. I'm a Nigerian and I live in Weymouth, Massachusetts in the US. I'm a creative writer and I write fiction and poetry. If you want to check out some of my work, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @ceze_. So if you're new here, welcome. Technically, I'm still new because this is my second video, so welcome, and I hope that you enjoy this video and that you subscribe and come back for more. If you're returning, that means you watched my first video and you're back for this second one. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful that you even deemed it fit to like sit down and watch me a second time. Like, that gives me hope. So guys, thank you. Now to this video. This is basically going to be about coming to America. I'm going to be telling you my experience, how I came here, why I came here, giving you all the details as much as possible. So I came here for college, and I came here through a program that is still being run, to the best of my knowledge. I will have to check, like after this whole pandemic thing is over, we're gonna have to check and make sure that it's still being run, but I think it is because I know someone who is actually supposed to start school in September through the same program. So yeah, if you're excited to know all of that, keep watching. Okay, so like I said in my first video, I was born and raised in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria up until the end of my secondary school. Secondary school is high school. So till I graduated from high school, I was in Nigeria. And while I was still in secondary school, my sister graduated from secondary school. And then she got admission into, what's they called? ATBU in Bauchi to study engineering. But she always had like her eyes set on MIT here in Boston. If you know good schools in the US, you know that MIT is like all the way up there. So yeah, she always wanted to attend MIT and she had her eyes set on it. And while she was in secondary school, she got to know about a program that is run by the US Embassy in Nigeria, both in Abuja and Lagos. So yeah, she got to know about this program. It's called EAC Education Advising Center. I will double check to make sure that that is what it means. But yeah, EAC, you know, run by the American Embassy in Abuja. Let me tell you about EAC. EAC is basically a program that helps Nigerian students that just finished secondary school and are interested in coming to college here in the US, but you know, don't know how to go about it. So they guide you through the process, writing SATs, applying to schools, finding a school that fits you if you're looking for scholarships, but you have to pay a fee, right? And then under it, like a one-time fee, under the EAC, there's a program called USAP, which is much smaller. So USAP is for really smart, intelligent students that graduate from secondary school and really could get into schools and are interested in getting into colleges here in the US, but are not like financially buoyant enough to sponsor themselves. Like their parents can't sponsor them, but they're really smart kids, you know. So what USAP does is select a group of 10 students every year, and they help them they pay all your application fees, you know, they help you apply to schools, they help pay for you to write SATs and just get you here, you know. So yeah, that was what my sister did, and she got into MIT on a full scholarship. In fact, at some point, I think MIT was even paying her to attend school. It's serious. When I was still in secondary school, she did that, and I just knew that, you know, everybody was waiting for me to do it, because in my house, the way it was growing up, anything that my sister does, I'm so is going to do it. Nobody was asking me if I wanted to. They were just telling me I was going to do it. And like, let's be honest, I didn't have a problem with it though. Who does not want to come to America? I wanted to come, so I said yes. When I graduated from secondary school, I still wrote JAMB, like just in case, because you never know, just in case. I still wrote JAMB. JAMB is basically the exam you write to get into universities here. No, universities in Nigeria. So I wrote JAMB, you know, applied for pharmacy. Don't ask me about this pharmacy thing. It's just, see, a lot of things have happened. I wrote to get into pharmacy, but then I didn't end up writing post-UTME. Is that what they call it? It's like the exam after JAMB, which will actually determine if you're going to get into the school. I don't know how it works, but yes, I didn't end up writing post-UTME because as at that time, I already knew that I was going to school. Abi? No, I did not know. I hadn't even gotten my admission. But we had faith. My mother had faith. She said, no, you are not going to write post-UTME, so I did not write. As I was, you know, doing all the JAMB things, I applied for USAP, because the way it is anybody can get the form, as long as, I don't know how you get it. Oh no, sorry, I know how you get it. Sometimes they go to different schools in different states, right? We talk to the students, and sometimes they'll leave forms with the school. So in my case, they did come to my school, but the only reason they came to my school was because my sister had done it before, and she had like slipped in my school's name in the process. You get, that was the first time they came to my school. They probably would never have come to my school if not for that. So anyways, but there are other ways to get the form. I don't want to go into details about all that, but they have a website, you know, everything's on the website. You can always check the website, and I'll leave the website. I'll actually leave the website details and everything in the description box. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But as I was saying, so I applied to USAP, and I'm not going to lie, I thought I had an edge because, you know, my sister had gone through it. She was smart. She went to MIT. Hello. I got invited for the interview, and we were about 20 or a little over 20, and they're supposed to select 10, right? They give you an exam, and then after the exam there's an interview where you interview with one of 3 of the main people running the program. So the exam was basically like an SAT style format thing. I had been practicing for SATs, not because we knew they were going to give us an exam at that place, because in my sister's time there was no exam, it was just the interview. But I had been practicing for SATs because I wrote JAMB, and my JAMB score came out, and I think it was 230 something out of 400. I'm not a mumu person. So I was feeling very bad about it, because for pharmacy I think it needed to be at least 260 or even 270 or something. And I was feeling very bad about it, so I now just put all my energy and started concentrating on SATs, because I was like, yo, this thing has to work, because if I stay in this Nigeria and I don't end up studying pharmacy, my parents are not gonna be happy. So I was like, let me just concentrate on this abroad thing, because it has to work. So it was just a coincidence that, you know, during my time they now gave us exam SATs. I say, what? It's like, hey, I've arrived. Today's the time to shine. So I wrote it with full confidence. I think I got like the second highest score. It was definitely not the best. Was it the best? It may have been the best, because they were shocked. They were surprised. They were like... So I was, you know, feeling myself. And then it was time for interview. Unluckily for me, luckily for me, at the time I did not think it was lucky. I got the main woman, the main person in charge of USAP, EAC. I've forgotten what her name. I know it was Jennifer, Mrs. Jennifer. Oh, I know the O. I don't remember what the O stands for. But yeah, she was the one interviewing me. And guys, she knew my sister. She knew my sister well. I feel like she was just expecting a mini version of my sister. And then she saw me, and like, me and my sister are complete opposites. So she was just like, who are you? How can I help you? Legit, who are you? How can I help you? Here's the thing, me and my sister are complete opposites. Let's start with like physical looks, right? She's tall, I'm short. Not that short, but I'm short. she's dark skinned, I'm light skinned. And then you now start going deeper. She likes all the math and equations, and and me, I'm all about words and like talk to me, theories, like you can't tell me this plus this is this and I cannot ask you why. Like we cannot debate, we can't question anything. Character wise, my sister is like, all strong willed and everything, and I'm like, I don't like trouble. I'm all touchy feely. I'm a sweet person. So we're just completely different, and we've always been like that, even though my parents made me do every single thing she did. So it wasn't hard to figure out that we were completely different and our interests were completely different from the start of the interview. And I feel like she just switched off at some point and was like, you can tell when someone is talking to you and they've just sort of written you off, right? And that was how I felt, but I didn't say anything. Finished the interview, I came out as God would have it, I had someone rooting for me there. Shout out to this woman. I think she still works there. Mrs. Adebayo. She was like my saving grace that day, and she has helped so many other people too. People have such good things to say about her. So shout out to Auntie Shade. So Auntie Shade was there silently rooting for me, and I didn't know at the time. At the end of everything, they came out. They're supposed to pick 10 people, right? So they now picked 9 people. It was 6 boys and 3 girls, and my name was not among the 9, and I was like, is this how my life has ended? Like, it was that serious at the time. It was that serious at the time, because I'm over here thinking I've put all of my hope and everything into this process, and then you're telling me you're not selecting me. What? And then they asked everybody to go except me. Yes, they told me to wait, that they were not sure about me, and they were trying to decide if they wanted to let me in or not. So there I am, a little child, barely 18, sitting down thinking about my life, my choices, everything, wondering where it all went wrong. Mrs. Shade, she came to me and she was like, what happened? Like, what happened during the interview? And I said, I don't know, but I feel like she just wrote me off because I'm nothing like my sister, and she wants someone like my sister because, that's just the type of personality that she gravitates towards, or I don't know. But I didn't do anything wrong. I answered the questions to the best of my ability, but I could tell that she just wasn't interested in taking me. And she was like, don't worry, like, I will, talk to her, I'll see what I can do. But I was sitting there for so long. I think it was up to an hour. I'm not even kidding. And it was just me sitting there, people walking by, passing, not saying a word to me. And I was like, what the hell is going to happen? I was definitely there for a long time, because I remember, so when you enter, they collect your phones. And I remember when I eventually left and I turned on my phone, I saw a couple of missed calls from my dad. And he was like wondering where I am, because it was way past when I was supposed to have been back. So guys, I sat down there and I sat down and I sat down until finally the head of the Mrs. she came out and she gave me a paper that said, congratulations, you've been accepted. I was like, oh my god, how can you make a child go through this? Like, why? Why? What did I do? But that's my story. So yes, went out, went home, I told my dad, told him everything that happened, and he was like, thank God, dude, thank God. I say yes, thank God. And we went home, because everything is in Abuja there, all the resources you need, there are computers that you can use for as long as they are open, and then they have like all these books that you can read if you're looking for schools, books with information on different schools, so you can find a good fit. Even for SATs, like practice questions and all that, everything is provided. So it didn't make sense for me to just be in Jos. So most of the time I was in Abuja, like going back and forth. Jos and Abuja are not that far, so it was easy to commute. And sometimes I would just stay in Abuja for like a few weeks and then come back to Jos. So that was that. And I wrote SATs. I wrote the SATs in Abuja. I got a very, very sumptuous, very good score. And then there's SATs, and then there's SAT 2, which is the subject SAT, right? So that one is where you're supposed to like pick students, pick subjects that you are strong in, and you are probably related to a course that you want to study. I thought that I was really going to stick with this whole science thing, So at the time, I now chose biology, chemistry, and physics, or math, something. One combination that just did not exactly favor me. So my scores in that second SAT were not as good as the first one, obviously, but they were still good. So yeah, I wrote SATs, I wrote SAT 2, results came out, we were all happy. We're now picking schools. For picking schools, for the most part, it's up to you. You can decide what schools you want to pick, but then your advisor, in my case, Aunt Shade, will now go through it with you, and if it's just not making sense, they'll tell you it's not making sense and then help you figure it out. But if it's making sense, then they approve it, and then you can start doing your applications. So for me, the number one school I knew was on my list from the beginning was Smith College, which I ended up going to. And the reason why it was on my list was because my sister had applied to it, and when she applied to it, she got in. And they were so nice. Like, they sent her all this cool stuff, like this video that would show you the campus and different students, and like it was just really cool. And I watched that video and I fell in love, and I was like, my school, I didn't even care that it was all women. They just admit all women, or like people who identify as women. I didn't care if it was like Nigerian all girls boarding secondary school. I didn't care. I just knew that that was a place for me. Even when I told Aunt Shade, she was like, I see you at Smith. Like, that was first thing, like, you are definitely Smith material now. I was like, yeah, you see, I know myself. I know myself. Yeah, I put Smith and then a couple of other schools. I honestly can't remember. I only remember Harvard because they rejected me. Like, typically you apply to 10 schools. I don't think anybody applied to more than 10 schools. Maybe some applied to less. But in my case, it was 10 schools. Applications are no joke, man. You have to like fill out some long ass application, and then you have to now write essays, and you can't repeat essays. You can't submit the same essay. It doesn't work like that. I did all that, and then it was time to wait to hear back from schools. Oh, another thing that I should talk about is funding. So because I was under USAP, obviously my parents couldn't afford. So USAP will, when you're picking schools, they will tell you, the advisors will tell you what schools to not even bother applying to, because those ones don't know what it means to give financial aid, need-based financial aid, because that's what you should be looking for. You can also look for like merit scholarships, but your result better be on point. What they emphasize is need-based financial aid. So they will tell you schools that that are definitely going to take you and give you enough need-based financial aid for you to be able to attend. So yeah, that was another factor. And Smith had a lot of money, has a lot of money. What am I saying? They have a lot of money. So Smith College, number one financial aid giver, especially to Africans. Especially to Africans. So yeah, that was another thing. So for me, I think Smith was the first school that gave me admission. I will never forget that night. I was at home. I knew that the decisions were supposed to come in that night. And I kept checking my phone. It was one tiny Nokia phone like that. I kept checking, kept refreshing. Internet was doing all sorts of things. But I was like, I have to know before I sleep. It was late at night. My parents had gone to bed, and I refreshed it, and then I saw from the beginning, it was like, congratulations, Smith wants you. And I was like, oh my god, oh my lord. And I ran to my mom, woke them up and I was like, Mommy, I got in to Smiths. And then financial aid offer came and they were giving me basically a full ride, like full ride, guys, full ride. I think I only had to pay like $200, and you know, work study is also part of the package, so of course I could pay $200 with the work study. Also, like, I ended up not even paying anything by like my second year, because that's another story. That's another story. That's another video. So let me not tell you guys here, so that you come back and you watch it. You should definitely subscribe so that you will know when I post the next video. I have so many juicy things to tell you guys, man. So that was how it happened. They gave me a full ride, full scholarship, and at that point I wasn't even interested in decisions from other schools. I wasn't even interested in whether they are going to give me or not. I was just like, okay, cool, Smiths, here I come. That is how I came to the US, and then I ended up staying afterwards. How I ended up staying is a story for another day that I will definitely tell you guys about. Okay, so anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you've come this far, guys, I sincerely appreciate it, and I love you. And please subscribe. It's just a click. You just have to, that's all. Alright, subscribe. The button is down below, and also click the bell right beside it so that you get alerted every time I post a video. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.